والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر وأنت على كل شيء قدير. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to Him, and peace and blessings be upon His beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to descend His blessings upon every single person of us. Respected, dear brothers and sisters, I know it's not easy for any one of you to attend or to listen to someone, maybe the age gap between you and him at least 30 years. It's not easy. Some of you might be forced to sit here. But I need you to be a little bit, or a little bit, it depends, okay? Be patient, some kind of patience, till I finish to the end. I have a specific title and I'm planning to convey some certain concepts to you, okay? But I will not tell you what I'm planning yet, till I finish the first story. Now, the structure of my talk. I have a couple of questions at the beginning. I want to fix something between you and me. Then I will start the core of my talk, and I will be using 3 stories. Each story will include a concept, and at the end I will be connecting the thread between all of them to reach to some certain things in my mind, and it will be step by step. But before I delve into the core point of my talk, and before telling you about the title of my talk, simple 1 or 2 or maximum 3 questions. Just when I ask the question, raise up your hand whether you agree with this or that, okay? My first question, what is, to the best of your knowledge, from your point of view, what is more interesting and more beautiful? Playing a game on a PlayStation 4, like, what you call it, Fortnite? For example, okay? What is more beautiful, more interesting, more joyful, basically of happiness? To play Fortnite on the PlayStation or to study for a final exam? Which is more beautiful? My question is very specific. Which is one is more beautiful? Studying beautiful? Forget it. I'm asking beautiful, that you enjoy. Which is, okay, forget, for the men, just men, Shabab. What's my question? More beautiful. The majority is what? Majority, they will have it. I know, some of you, maybe they don't care. Okay, I know some of you, they don't care. And some of you, maybe they are very intelligent, they want to have the best marks. I'm not discussing those people. I'm asking the average of them, or the majority of the people. They will enjoy what's better in your age? PlayStation or study for the final? PlayStation. It's nearly common sense. Nearly common sense. Maybe the question is not applicable so much on you girls. It's okay. Having very specific, nice chats together, or having final exam? More beautiful. More beautiful. Chats, definitely. Okay? Type. Other question. What is more interesting and more beautiful? 2, for example, watch some kind of sport, okay, on TV, real competition, football, hockey, or so whatever, something really you like, more interesting, or taking care of an ill person at the hospital, more beautiful, more interesting, more joyful. Which one? Definitely the first one, definitely. I'm not asking from ethical point of view. I'm not asking from Islamic point of view. I'm asking you from common sense, human point of view, in a mathematical words, basically, the majority of the people. If it's up to you and there is no consequences, and there is no halal and haram, there is no accountability, what do you prefer? Definitely. Definitely you will enjoy something, you will feel happy with it. Do we agree in general on this? Okay. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, I want to pay your attention to the following facts. Now, what I asked you about, for example, sports, playing, Fortnite, chatting, nice gathering, compared with final exam, someone who will ill or whatever. I asked you in specific what is more what? Beautiful or more interesting. صح? But if I asked you what is more beneficial, if I change the question now, what is more beneficial for the long term? Watching sport, playing games, or studying? Studying. Look, completely. Now, more beautiful? An answer. More what? Beneficial. Other? Now, my first message, by the way, I've not started my talk yet. I want just to lay some kind of foundations between you and me. My first message, I think the majority of us agree upon the following, quote unquote. Not everything, because it is beautiful or I enjoy it, necessarily is beneficial. True or false? In many cases, what is more beneficial could be what is not interesting for me. True or false? We agree on this? Fine. Now I will connect this concept with a real story, then I will start my talk. Have you heard about Sheikh Yusuf Istis? Yusuf Istis. He's a very well-known da'iyah from Texas, Dallas, United States. MashaAllah. He's, I think, 70-something. Maybe he's approaching 80, if I'm not mistaken. Yusuf Istis, he says about himself the following story about one of the core things that pushed him to embrace Islam. And if I'm not mistaken, I forget, I heard it from the YouTube or person from him. So I know him in person. I sat with him many times. So, to the best of my memory, he told this to me directly. If I'm mistaken, I saw it because I mixed what I saw in the YouTube and what I took from him directly, because I met him many times in different countries. He says about himself the following. Core point, one of the main reasons that's why he became a Muslim, he used to be dedicated to Catholicism. He was a Christian, following Christian faith. So one of the things that he was trying to do, because he loves his faith, he used to love his faith, he was doing his best to do exactly what we call it in our Islamic terminology, da'wah. As a Christian, dedicated, faithful person, he was trying to do what they call it the missionary job, okay? One of his targets was simple, humble Egyptian immigrants. He was talking about himself. He said, he used some certain, he used to have some kind of shop or place. He used to deal with this immigrants. His English not that good. He's not well educated. He's not rich. He's working in a very simple, humble thing. So I'm not discussing a da'iyah now. I'm not talking about someone who's a professional in da'wah. No. Someone who's working a very simple thing with a very humble English and a very difficult legal status. I mean, he's an immigrant, okay? This Egyptian brother, he used to see Yusuf Istis. Yusuf Istis did his best many times to convert this Egyptian to Christianity. So once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 7 times. Then, you know, that simple Egyptian humble person, he wanted just to finish this talk. He does not want to discuss this, and he does not want to be rude with this person, and he wants just to close this file. Allah guided him to the following thing. He said, look, my dear friend, if you prove to me that your religion is better than my religion, I will leave my religion and follow your religion. Okay? Now Yusuf Istis, he says about himself, he said, I said in myself, caught you! Allah forget! Okay, he said, look, you pray 5 times, you don't pray 5 times. You have to go to whatever you don't have to do. When you fast the month of Ramadan, 30 days without food, without drink, from the dawn up to the sunset, we don't have to do this. Blah, 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 blah. He counted to him list of things which is much more difficult in Islam than Christianity. He said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, see? So we don't have to do it. So my religion is better. Then this Egyptian brother, Jazallah Khair, he said, excuse me brother, I asked you to prove, quote unquote, to prove to me that your religion is better, not easier. I said, what? Sir, I asked you to prove is better, not easier. Finish the quotation. Who said easier is better? Who can claim that easier is better? By the way, watching TV is easier than studying. But let's discuss, if you kept on watching TV for 20 years, what could you be in 20 years to come, compared with 20 years of studying, for example? Wow! Wow! Still not what's it? Still watching TV, yes. Simply, the only added value that you have to your life that you watch TV. That's it. So, while if you kept on doing studying or many other things, you will be completely something else. But it's not easier. It's better. So my first message, by the way, this is not my talk. I have not started my talk yet. I want just to fix some certain concepts on the ground. I want to lay a common ground foundation between you and me. Easier is not better. Agreed upon? Do we agree on this? More beautiful, not necessarily more beneficial. You know why I'm saying this? To be honest with you, okay, I'm not expert in your society. I came from Jordan. By the way, I forgot to introduce myself, I'm sorry. My name is Amjad Qourshah. I'm an associate professor in the field of comparative religions, Christian-Muslim relations, and Islamic faith, Faculty of Sharia or Islamic Studies, Jordan University. I'm not living in Canada. This is I'm here since less than 20 days, okay? I was told that some certain number of youth, they might be coming because their parents forced them to come. To be honest with you, wallahi, maybe it's easier to me to kill me than putting me in a situation that I'm talking with you while you hate listening to me. You know what I'm talking about? So please, I want to pay your attention. Sometimes the fact that you are sitting in something less beautiful, less interesting, okay? Less whatever, easier, does not mean necessarily you are losing. No, 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 no. You might be gaining, but still you are not aware of what you are gaining. So say thanks to your parents for the fact that at least some efforts have been, put in somehow to let you listen to someone. Now, I will start my talk. But before starting my talk, I must tell you something. Part of my talk will be built on a concept. I claim that I love my Islam. I'm very proud of my Islam. I'm traveling around the world talking about Islam. I have been studying and teaching Islam since 33 years. I visited 270 cities on earth in 26 countries and 5 continents. So maybe 90% of my talks, I like to use the personal experience plus my personal convictions. Now, can anyone of you guess what is the title of my talk? Can anyone guess what is the title of my talk? Type. You will know that, yes. Talking about Islam. Very general. Yes. By the way, this is true. In a specific. Who can read my mind? It's very difficult, yes. Yes, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب. Yes. Islam in the West. طيب. I will let you know, or I will let you know, you don't use this accent. By the way, this is one of the accents, I did my PhD in the UK, in Birmingham. So they have a special accent there. Takes you a little bit. We have a meeting, you see? This is their accent they do. So sometimes, maybe I picked some of this. Anyway, but I will let you know the title after finishing the first story. I told you how many stories I will be highlighting. 3. After finishing the 3 stories with the concept that I'm planning to highlight, we will have an open discussion, okay? Now, the first story. How many of you have heard about Rabi' bin Amir? This is the name of a Sahabi, by the way. Who knows Rabi' bin Amir? None. طيب. هذا والله. Good. Very quickly. Rabi' bin Amir was a very simple, humble, unknown soldier who happened to be a companion of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, who lived after Prophet Muhammad ﷺ passed away. He was a soldier in the Battle of Al-Qadisiyah. Have you heard about this name? The Battle of the Qadisiyah, basically, it was the beginning of the conquer of the Persian Empire. Now, Persians at that time, to the best of my reading and my knowledge, they used to have the most powerful, the most mightiest army on earth, 260,000 soldiers. Muslims at that time, with the best of their power, they used to have between 30, according to the estimations, up to 36,000. So 35,000 for around 250,000 soldiers. So it's 1 to 7 or 1 to 8, more or less. In the mathematical, physical calculations, who should win? I'm talking about more than 1,400 years ago. No mass destructions weapons, okay? Nothing. No planes, no jets, no tanks, nothing at all. It's just the manpower. If you have one sword compared with 8 swords, 1 to 8, mathematically speaking, who should win? Definitely. So, but at that time, look, 260,000, 36,000. So, the leader of the Persian armies, his name was Rustum. Please try to memorize this story, because I will build a very important concept. I personally, I'm talking about myself. When I first heard the story that I'm highlighting now, and then I will tell you by the end what is the title that I designed for this story. I personally, when I first heard it, it changed my life, this story. And by the way, I'm sorry, Sheikh, you are gathering us here just to tell us stories. Yes, telling you stories. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فَقْصُصُ الْقَصَصَ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Tell them about the stories so that they might reflect upon. إِنَّ فِي قَصَصِهِمْ لَعِبْرَةً. Tell them, there is a lesson, a wisdom in their stories. And by the way, about 1/3 of the Quran is qasas, stories. So a story basically, when it is narrated, to give you a concept, to give you a message, to build the faith, to correct a concept, it's one of the best ways on earth to convey messages and to change motivations and concepts, by the way. We come back to, what's his name? The Sahabi? Rib? The Sahabi. The companion, his name? Rib'i bin Amir. Fix it here, okay? Rib'i bin Amir. Yes?
You have $50, 5 gifts for 5 questions anytime. Surprise them with question.
5 gifts, each one?
$10.
$10.
اللي يجاوبك صح فيه.
Okay, good. You told me.
بس أسئلة صعبة الله يخليك.
Volunteers.
Okay.
في شاورما.
What's the name of the Sahabi? Rib'i bin Amir. Okay, give them. Okay, Jazakallah khair. What? Okay, now Rib'i. So, Rustum, who was the leader of the Persian armies, not armies, okay? They have different, huge groups of armies. So, sorry? No, I'm not asking this. Rustum, at that time, part of their traditions, when a big mighty power is about to fight another power, if they can save the blood, why not? Okay? If I can win without any loss, why not? So they have what we call is now negotiations sometimes. Plus, in the negotiations, they try to do what we call psychological war. They would try to show their power, so that the other party might say, oh no, we can't fight them, so let's go back without any problem. So they do these things at that time. Okay, now Rustum, the leader of the Persians, he asked the representative from Muslims to come speak with him. So Amr ibn al-As, he was the leader of the Muslim army. He sent Rib'i bin Amir. By the way, before that event, to the best of my knowledge, no one knows who's Rib'i bin Amir. Just someone from the companions. No one knows who he was. Look, when Rib'i bin Amir went there, and they tried to do some amazing things. The Persian carpets, these big tents. And by the way, Persians, part of their faith, they do knee down and they do prostrate for their leaders, because in some certain sects and faith in the Persian faiths, basically, they think that some kind of divine things, they are inside their leaders, okay? So they do literally, they knee down and they prostrate for their leaders. So Rabi' ibn Amr came to Rustam. Rustam was sitting on a stage, like a big, huge, powerful king with all kinds of prestigious aspects. Rabi' ibn Amr came. He was looking at them. Before he left his horse, he was holding his spear with him. So the first message, he was using the spear to dig it inside the carpets, and he made holes inside the carpets with his spear. The first message, he was telling them, don't ever think I will be attracted with this kind of physical power. يعني أقول إخواننا المصريين ده بعدك. You know ده بعدك. Don't ever think in this way. I don't care with what you have. Anyway, they gave him, like, imagine Rustam is sitting here, Rabi', they put for him a very, simple, chair. Rustam, he was sitting, let's say, about 1.5 meters above Rabi'. Now, in the art of negotiations, if someone is looking down and someone is looking like this person has already lost 50% of his power. Don't accept to sit with someone to negotiate unless like this. Okay? Psychologically speaking. Rabi' was not graduated from any school or from any university. He refused to sit down. He said, if you want to negotiate with me, I want to sit next to, what's his name? Rustam, okay? They said, no one is allowed to sit next to the leader. You asked me to come. Either you allow me to sit or, Salaam alaikum. He said, okay, sit. Now that he was sitting next to him, the normal question, Rustam asked the following question, why did you come here? Rustam was under the impression that this simple group of Arabs, they were hungry, looking for some kind of source of food and drink and money, and just, they come to beg to say, yeah, Sheikh, please, if you have some kind of bread, some kind of food, Allah, it will be nice. Thank you very much, Jazakallah khair. This is what he thought. A group of Arab gangs, they are leaving the Arabic Jazeera or the Arabic Peninsula, just seeking some kind of materialistic things. This is what he thought. Still, he has no idea about what does Islam mean for those people. Ignorant. He said,